Good evening all, I'm Aditi Lamba with the Wednesday night edition of South Asian News. Welcome to Vision of Asia, voice of our community. We are coming to you from our studio in New York City. Here's what's happening tonight in the coronavirus pandemic. Globally, more than 1 million people have died from the novel virus with at least 33.7 million cases. The United States has surpassed a sobering number of 7.2 million cases of COVID-19 with at least 206,000 deaths. New cases records are being seen in Montana, South Dakota, Utah, Wisconsin, Wyoming, Kentucky, Minnesota, and Puerto Rico. Some updates here from New York City, which was once the epicenter, has now opened indoor dining at 25% capacity today with social distancing and contact tracing measures in place. But it comes as the city and the state sees a bump in positive COVID-19 cases. Meanwhile, schools have also opened in the city this week for about 300,000 students yesterday for the very first time since March. Eyes are on what the next few weeks bring in and how efficiently schools can protect and keep the buildings safe and healthy during this pandemic. Our neighboring state, New Jersey, has also reopened schools in both virtual and in-person setting. If you are an educator or a student back in person at school or college, please write to us with your experience and opinion on sending kids back to school. Email us on events@itvgold.com or write to us on Facebook at itvgold. And last night saw the first debate between President Donald Trump and Democratic nominee former Vice President Joe Biden, an event which was more than chaotic for a traditional debate with both candidates talking over each other over issues regarding this pandemic, Supreme Court nomination, immigration, healthcare, systemic racism, the economy, and many more. More than 1 million people in the country have already casted their vote for the presidential election coming up on November 3rd. Another reminder here for all eligible voters, please register to vote and get your voice counted. With that, it's time to now begin tonight's South Asian News segment with more updates on COVID-19. Along with US politics, here are the headlines. Dr. Rachana Kulkarni on COVID-19 updates, surging cases and reopening New Jersey. American Association of Physicians of Indian Origin hosts 2020 Chicago Mini Convention, Illinois. Get to know Yash Pandya for Edison Board of Education, Umiya Dham Temple, New Jersey. Time for a short break on Vision of Asia, voice of the community. We'll be back shortly. And welcome back. I'm Aditi Lamba and this is Vision of Asia, Wednesday night episode of South Asian News. We are looking at tonight at the coronavirus updates, measure and impact. New cases records are being seen in Montana, South Dakota, Utah, Wisconsin, Wyoming, Kentucky, Minnesota and Puerto Rico. Please remember to continue practicing social distancing. Wearing a mask and washing hands is more important than ever now with so many lives lost to this novel virus. Today on vaccine, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation signed a new joint agreement with 16 pharmaceutical companies scaling up manufacturing of COVID-19 vaccines at an unprecedented speed. However, concerns around the availability of the vaccine and the efficacy continues. Also, two studies recently have found that COVID-19 cases surged among young people just as colleges got back into session, with a warning from health experts of a rise in cases during this fall and winter. This is all happening while the nation continues to see reopening of schools, colleges, indoor dining, malls, and much more. So what is the reason behind the spike in cases in the Midwest, and what should we consider while deciding between in-person and virtual learning? We spoke with expert Dr. Rachana Kulkarni, bringing forth many updates and understanding of COVID-19. Here is Dr. Rachana Kulkarni. Dr. Kulkarni, what are the ongoing COVID-19 relief efforts? Because I know right now Akshay Patra has diverted all of its effort into helping the vulnerable communities of India. So I would love to get a good insight into what is happening in India right now.
Thank you so much. COVID has been a real big issue for India. So once again, I'm going to make sure I have the numbers right. The pandemic has left 12 crores in India jobless by May end. Huge numbers, because you know how hard Indian government and Indian communities have worked to get Indian people out of poverty.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, all those efforts may go away with COVID, because experts say that at least 10 crores Indians will be pushed below poverty line because of COVID. And it breaks my heart. And the aftermath of this crisis will last for at least next couple years. So what is Akshay Patra doing for that? Schools are closed now. There are so many workers who lost their jobs, who lost their homes. So migrant workers were particularly hit hard by COVID, and so are the kids. Now, with schools being shut down, the risk of acute hunger, and these young kids and what I call them as the future of India, not returning to school and getting pushed back in poverty is so much at risk. So what are we doing? So we are increasing the access to food and education remotely. How are we doing that? We are doing that with something that is called Happiness Box. Happiness Box, because the schools are closed now, Happiness Box is a box that is given to every child. And there is a very systematic process there. When Akshay Patra, and this is, by the way, this is just being done just by Akshay Patra without any government help.
Oh, wow.
Purely done by donations. So every kid who is registered in those schools, the parents will have to show up at the school, of course, practicing strict social distancing, hand hygiene guidelines. And I may have some pictures to show you that they are doing amazing work. So the volunteers of Akshay Patra will verify whether or not the kid is already enrolled there. And then per month, each child would get a happiness box. That happiness box, I will tell you exactly what's in it. So we will have, because we want to hit all three components that Akshay Patra serves, is nutrition, education, and hygiene.
Right.
So for hygiene, we get toothpaste, toothbrush for every child, soap, and for a female child, we give sanitary napkins. Education, these kids will get a classmate notebook, pencil cases, color pencils, crayon, and activity workbook, because you don't want the kids not to learn.
Yeah.
And we want to keep them engaged. So, and in addition, they're going to get like dal, rice, jaggery, pickles, so dry food that their family can cook for them. And we also, just to make sure there is no contamination, we give the box, we tell the parents to open the box after 24 hours to make sure that there is no other contamination or anything. Each box will cost $8 US and 50 cents per child per month. That's the cost of delivering happiness to a child. And my humble request to all our listeners is, think about this. $20 can feed or can support 2 children every month. So think about that while they're out of school.
Yeah.
Make sure that they are engaged in education. Let's make sure they're fed and they're not pushed back in poverty again.
Up next, we have a Get to Know segment featuring candidate Yash Pandya, who is running for Edison Board of Education in New Jersey elections 2020. He is running to demand transparency in education, promoting new ways of learning, and maximizing value of the taxpayer dollars. A young South Asian American and a longtime resident of New Jersey, he calls himself not a politician but a lifelong learner who believes that schools can only prospect when qualified citizens are willing to serve, and that investing in our children now means vibrant future for Edison, New Jersey. Also addressing safety of students in schools along with student-centered education, Yash Pandya hopes to serve his community with much passion. Recently, at the Umiya Dham temple, members of the community came together to support Yash Pandya, a South Asian candidate running for Edison Board of Education, and here is what they had to say along with Yash Pandya.
बच्चे पे कृपा करे, हम सब लोग की यही मनोकामना है। और ऐसे ही यश, आज तुम्हारी शुरुआत है, हम चाहेंगे इस तरह से खूब सेवा करो, ये हमारी कर्म भूमि है। और तुम्हारे माता पिता जी को भी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद कि उन्होंने ऐसे संस्कारित बच्चों को पढ़ाया लिखाया। अब समाज के इस काम में जहाँ पे हमें बच्चों को, हमारे समाज को, जहाँ पर लोगों को इतनी सारी जो कठिनाइयाँ होती है उसके लिए इसको प्रेरित करके एक बहुत अच्छा ये 6 डिजिट 7 डिजिट की बड़ी कंपनी में काम कर सकता था, काम भी करता है, लेकिन इसने अपने जीवन का कुछ पार्ट निकाल के संकल्प लिया है कि हम समाज की सेवा करेंगे। सब लोग एक साथ इनके लिए ताली दें। यश पंड्या और माता रानी आपकी कृपा करें। और हम सब चाहते हैं कि ये तो आपकी शुरुआत है, आप यहाँ से स्टेट लेवल पे और सेंट्रल व्हाइट हाउस तक पहुँचे और हम सब लोग मिलकर के आपको आशीष देते हैं। यश, थैंक यू। जय माता दी। जय माता दी। और पारिक वर्ल्ड वाइड मीडिया और हमारे भाटी जी भी यहाँ आए हुए हैं और डॉक्टर साहब भी नहीं आ पाए, डॉक्टर सुनील पारिक किसी वजह से नहीं आ पाए, उनको भी हम धन्यवाद करेंगे। वो भी जब सुने कि भाई ऐसी तैयारी है तो वो नहीं आ पाए, लेकिन उनकी टीम यहाँ पहुँची हुई है, हम उनका भी धन्यवाद करेंगे।
Now I am running for Edison Board of Education. I would like to bring my knowledge, my experience to the younger generations and share my experiences to bring and make better their brighter future. I've been in Edison my whole life. I've been there from elementary, from K to 12. Now I would like to bring this experience at the educational level, at a more citywide and statewide level, to bring some positive and some new changes. And I would like to be the voice for the students with the parents and help bring the positive changes, help bring attention to a lot of the opportunities that we go through on a day-to-day basis, and more importantly to make the better future for our kids, our future generation in Edison, and help take that to our state level and our federal level in the future. So thank you, Pranam Badane, thank you Pandya, thank you Pramodji, Badane Pranam, Badano, thank you, Tamara support mate, and we will make change together. Thank you.
यश पंड्या माटे बोर्ड ऑफ एज्युकेशन में नवेम्बर 3 इलेक्शन में एडिसन गाम माटे रन करी रह्यो छे। आ सेम प्रेसिडेंशियल जो इलेक्शन बेलेट आवशे ए बेलेट पर ज यश पंड्यानुं नाम हशे बेक साइड पर बेलेटना अने बेलेट बधाने मेल इन बेलेट आ वखते आववाना छे बिकॉज ऑफ पेन्डेमिक हमणां बहार बधाने जईने मतो नहीं थाय एटले वोट बाय मेल वधारे थशे। तो यादथी बधाने ओळखीताओने कहेजो કે વોટ કરે ભૂલે નહીં કેમ કે આપણા ભારતીયો વોટો નથી કરતા અને આપણે એમાં સહભાગ નથી લેતા એ સહભાગ લેવું બહુ જરૂરી છે। આજે એડિસન આખા અમેરિકામાં સૌથી વધારે ભારતીયો અને સૌથી વધારે ગુજરાતીઓ અહીંયા છીએ પણ અત્યારે આપણો એક પણ ભારતીય સ્પેશિયલી ગુજરાતી બોર્ડ ઓફ એજ્યુકેશનમાં કોઈ છે નહીં એટલે યશ અહીંયા ભણેલો અહીંયા ઉછર્યો છે અહીંયાની સ્કૂલોમાં ગયો છે એટલે એને લાગ્યું કે આપણું રિપ્રેઝન્ટેશન આપણું કહેવાનું માટે કોઈ ગુજરાતીઓ માટે અહીંયા કોઈ હોવું જોઈએ એટલે રન કરે છે। બાકી આપણે જુઓ બધા આપણા છોકરાઓ બધું ભગવાનની દયાથી બહુ સારું કરે છે, બધા એન્જિનિયરો થાય છે, ડૉક્ટરો થાય છે, વકીલો થાય છે। યશ પોતે એક ફાર્માસ્યુટિકલ કંપનીમાં એક લીડ કરીને જોઈન થઈ ગયો છે જ્યાં હજી એ સારી સેલેરી કમાશે અને બધું કરશે પણ અમને લાગ્યું કે એણે સમાજ માટે પણ કશું કરવું જોઈએ અને આપણે બધાની અત્યારે ફરજ છે એટલીસ્ટ આપણું જે નેક્સ્ટ જનરેશન છે એને માટે કે બધાએ હવે પોલિટિક્સમાં સોશિયલ વર્કમાં પબ્લિક સર્વિસમાં પણ આવવું પડે અથવા આપણે ભારતીયો અધરવાઇઝ આપણે બહારથી જ બધું કરીએ છીએ આપણે બધામાં આગળ છીએ આપણે ભારતીયો તરીકે આપણી બહુ સારી અહીંયા રેપ્યુટેશન છે ઇમેજ છે પણ આપણું સે બહુ ઓછું છે।
Hello everyone, my name is Yash Pandya. I'm running for the Edison Board of Education this upcoming November 3rd elections. I am running as a product of the Edison School District. I have attended Lindenau Elementary School. I have attended Herbert Hoover Middle School and Middlesex County Academy as my high school. I would like to bring my knowledge, my experience academically, recreationally to the board level to support education, support academics, support recreation for Edison students, Edison parents, Edison teachers, and make a positive change by being the voice for the students, by the students, and to the students. Thank you, and I'm looking forward to all of your support, your guidance, and to help the education system in Edison improve and become better each year. Thank you.
It's time for another short break on Vision of Asia, Voice of the Community. We'll be back shortly. And welcome back. This is Vision of Asia, the South Asian news segment, and I am Aditi Lamba. We have now another segment of the very successful and informational 2020 API Chicago Mini Convention presented by the American Association of Physicians of Indian Origin, the largest representation of South Asian medical professionals in the country, comprising of more than 100,000 doctors. Focused on facilitating and enabling Indian American physicians to excel in patient care, teaching and research, API promotes professional solidarity and coming together of the entire community for advancements in healthcare. On that, along with this ongoing COVID-related programs, API held this Chicago Mini Convention, gathering its member body, supporters, and elected officials in an outdoor settings with all precautionary measures of social distancing, hand washing, and mask wearing set in place. The two-day convention saw several informative sessions, award ceremonies, cultural night, and a walkathon. Here are highlights featuring key members of API at the Chicago Mini Convention of 2020.
Okay, good afternoon everyone. Again, I am the immediate past president of API, president for 2019 and 20, and today we'll try to finish the last rituals of last year. That's the award ceremony in person, and as you know, we had last year was a very interesting year. It was a challenge, and API stood the challenge test of times and did wonderfully. And we would like to, this whole movement of what API achieved in the last 6 months or 3 months is amazing. It has put API in every household in India and United States and globally, Britain, London, Australia, all over the world. So this could not have been possible without the support of the huge army of volunteers API has. And we would like to recognize most of the volunteers and most of the leaders, most of the advisors, but it's very difficult because we have almost 100,000 Indian physicians, 14,000 are members. It's impossible in this time to bring their names, but we would like to honor as many as possible, and they will go through our routine chart. Initially, when we planned to do the whole convention, our goal was, ours is a sandwich generation. Dr. Arora, Dr. Medavaram, and Sudhakar, we combine, bridge between the senior generation and the younger second generation. So we are 1.5 generation, next generation. And
Dr. Sudhir Parekh, publisher, India advocate, philanthropist, and physician, and the sole Indian American recipient of 3 of the most prestigious awards. The Pravasi Bharatiya Samman is an award constituted by the Ministry of Overseas Indian Affairs to honor exemplary NRIs. Dr. Sudhir Parekh.
The Ellis Island Medal of Honor celebrates the richness and diversity of American life. 6 presidents, many senators, congressional representatives, and Nobel Prize winners are among the remarkable group of individuals who have received the Ellis Island Medal of Honor.
Padma Awards are India's highest civilian awards. The glittering ceremony was held at the Rashtrapati Bhavan in the presence of the President of India, Prime Minister, Vice President, and top dignitaries. The award was presented by President of India, Mrs. Pratibha Patil.
सुधीर M. Parikh, सामाजिक कार्य.
Dr. Sudhir Parikh, internationally acclaimed physician, publisher, India advocate, and philanthropist. Dr. Sudhir Parikh not only preserved Indian culture and traditions on a foreign soil, but also helped strengthen relations between India and the United States with his established alliance on Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. Dr. Parikh makes history, attaining the 3 highest honors in the United States and India. He has created a legacy in the community for his multitude of recognitions and lifetime of...
Sudhir Parikh couldn't be here, and we thank him for the support, and we'll mail him his plaque.
Greetings to the ITV viewers, and this is Dr. Sudhakar Janalagada. I'm a gastroenterologist and a liver transplant specialist, and the president of American Association of Physicians of Indian Origin, and I'm the 37th president, just took charge last 2 months ago. Today, we had a meeting here in Chicago at the mini convention followed by a governing body. You all know, because of the current pandemics, our Chicago convention supposed to be in July has been cancelled. So because of this situation, we made it a very simple, small mini convention yesterday. And today we had a governing body. You know, governing body is a major body of national RP and made some lot of decisions to implement in the future. And as a president this year, I am offering 20 hours free CME credits to the members as a membership benefit, and also clinical observership program, which is very important for children coming from India to get some experience to rotate with the local physicians so that they can have some idea how the American system runs before they start residencies, and which is going to be a good asset for our project through the API. And also API, we are planning to do health education to the media, which our executive committee approved for doing that program. We all know that, you know, we don't use much media, but this is the first year during my presidency, we're trying to reach the media and teach them and community, you know, what are the important things like disease like breast cancer, and also for the colon cancer, or certain things like the depression. So it's very, very important for them to have some education through API going to help the community by giving those seminars through the media. And Padma Shri Dr. Sudhir Parikh is a well-wisher of the API and senior leader. And definitely, you know, he's like a mentor for me. You know, I have a question, I'll ask him. And he's a great asset for the community, Dr. Sudhir Parikh. And looking forward to work with him in future. Thank you, ITV.
Well, this wraps up our show for the night. Remember to send us your suggestions and get your voices and organizations on our show. Email us on events@itvgold.com or follow us on Facebook @itvgold. You can also now subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch many of our popular shows for free. Thank you for joining us tonight from Queens, New York. This is Vision of Asia, and I am Aditi Lamba. Take care and be well.